Tommy Norris thought the worst was behind him after all the fights he won to keep the oil company alive through storms that nearly wiped out everything he built. He believed he could finally relax and focus on the future, but in the harsh world of Texas oil, nothing stays calm for long. New problems hit hard as soon as the calendar turns to 2026. A giant new oil field is found right under their feet, promising billions in cash, but also bringing deadly risks that no one saw coming. Rival companies circle like hungry wolves, ready to steal the prize at any cost. Tommy is put in charge of locking down the rights and keeping everything safe, yet he quickly senses that the biggest danger is not from those outsiders. It is hiding inside his own team. People he has trusted for years start acting different. They hold secret talks that stop the moment he walks into the room. Phone calls get cut short and important papers go missing at the worst times. Tommy begins to connect the dots, and what he finds shakes him to the core. Someone close is leaking secrets to the highest bidder, and that leak could destroy the whole operation in days. The pressure builds fast as Tommy starts hunting for the traitor without letting anyone know he is onto them. Every conversation feels like a trap, and every smile hides a possible knife in the back. He wonders if it is one of his old partners who wants more money and power, or if it is someone even closer who knows all his weak spots and plans to use them against him. The suspense grows thicker with each passing hour because one wrong guess could end his career and maybe even his life. At the same time, his personal world is cracking under the weight. His family feels the strain as he spends nights chasing shadows instead of being home. Relationships that once felt solid now hang by a thread, and the guilt eats at him, but he cannot walk away from the fight. Accidents start happening on the rigs, and Tommy knows in his gut they are not random mistakes. Someone is causing them on purpose to scare everyone and slow down the work. The sabotage is clever and hidden so well that it looks like bad luck, but Tommy sees the pattern and it points straight to betrayal from inside. He pushes harder, digging into every detail, and the clues lead him to places he never wanted to go. That is when Demi Moore steps into the story as the woman who seems to hold all the answers. She offers help and stands by his side when things get dark, giving him advice that saves the day more than once. Her words feel honest and her support feels real, but Tommy starts to notice small things that do not add up. Her past has holes and her connections reach far beyond what she admits. Is she truly an ally, or is she playing a long game that could ruin him when he least expects it? The tension between them mixes business with something deeper, making every moment charged with doubt and hope at the same time. Tommy wants to believe in her because he needs someone on his side, yet the fear of another stab in the back keeps him awake at night. Meanwhile, the big bosses at the top push for quick results, and they do not care about the cost. They demand deals that cross lines, and when Tommy questions them, he gets warnings that feel like threats. The government officials jump into the mix too, promising protection, but asking for favors that smell like corruption. Every handshake now carries a hidden price, and Tommy realizes the web of lies is bigger than he first thought. He must choose his moves carefully because one slip and the entire empire could collapse, taking him and everyone around him down with it. The days turn into a constant battle of wits where trust is the rarest thing and betrayal waits around every corner. Tommy feels the weight on his shoulders growing heavier, but his fight never stops. He knows the discovery could change lives for the better, yet the people trying to steal it or sabotage it are willing to spill blood to win. Whispers spread through the offices and the fields about who might be the rat, and the fear makes good people act strange. Old friends avoid eye contact, and new faces appear with smiles that do not reach their eyes. Tommy tests loyalties in quiet ways, asking questions that seem innocent but carry double meanings. Each answer brings more confusion, and the suspense builds like a storm ready to break. He starts to see that this betrayal runs deeper than money or power. It touches family ties and old promises that were never meant to be broken. The woman by his side, played by Demi Moore, adds layers to the mystery because her every move could be the key to survival or the final blow. Tommy must decide fast if he can open up to her or if he has to keep her at arm's length to stay alive. The oil keeps pumping from the ground, black and valuable, but the real poison is the distrust spreading through the ranks. Lives hang in the balance as rigs face new dangers and boardrooms turn into battlegrounds. Tommy pushes forward with the same grit that made him a legend, but now doubt creeps in like never before. Can he spot the traitor before it is too late, or will the betrayal claim everything he holds dear? The first cracks are showing and the full storm is still coming. This season sets up shocks that will hit harder than any drill bit ever could, leaving fans stunned at every turn. The Landman is back in the fight of his life, and the question everyone asks is simple. Who will survive when the knives come out and the masks finally fall? The suspense never lets up as clues pile on clues and the truth stays just out of reach. Tommy Norris faces the ultimate choice between blind trust and cold suspicion, and either path could lead to ruin. The stakes rise higher with every secret revealed, and the betrayal feels personal in ways that cut straight to the heart. No one in the oil game plays fair anymore, and Tommy learns that lesson the hard way. The new discovery brings hope, but also invites chaos from all sides. Rivals make moves in the dark, and insiders sell out for a bigger cut. The woman who claims to stand with him holds secrets that could either lift him up or drag him under. Every episode builds the pressure until the air itself feels heavy with danger. Tommy keeps digging, refusing to back down even when the evidence points to people he never wanted to suspect. The game has changed and the rules are written in blood. This is only the start of a season packed with twists that will keep you guessing until the final frame. The oil empire stands on shaky ground, and one more push could bring it all crashing down. Tommy stands ready, but the enemy is already inside the gates and the clock is ticking louder than ever. Betrayal runs so deep that even the ground beneath the rigs feels unstable. The story pulls you in and refuses to let go as the layers peel back one by one, revealing a conspiracy that no one saw coming. The tension mounts and the questions multiply. Who is really pulling the strings, and how far will they go to win? Tommy must find out before the knife finds his back, and the season promises answers that will shock the world. The first section lays the foundation for an explosive ride filled with doubt, fear, and the raw fight for survival in a world where loyalty costs more than gold. The drama never slows, and the suspense keeps climbing as Tommy races against time and against the people he once called family. This is Landman at its most intense, and the betrayal is only beginning to show its true face. 844 milliseconds, Section 2, Section 2. The shadows in the Texas oil fields grow longer as Tommy Norris uncovers the first real crack in his trusted circle, and it hits him like a rig explosion nobody saw coming. One of his oldest drill supervisors, who stood by him through the worst storms, suddenly starts pushing for shortcuts that could save time but risk lives, and Tommy knows this man has never cut corners before. Late night meetings in dusty back rooms reveal whispered deals where company secrets are traded for fat envelopes of cash, and Tommy watches from the dark, realizing the betrayal is not just one person, but a chain of people he once called brothers. The new oil discovery that promised billions now feels like a curse because every report filed gets twisted and every safety check comes back clean, even when the rigs are shaking from hidden damage. Tommy confronts his supervisor in a quiet parking lot under the glow of flickering lights, and the man denies everything with a straight face, but his eyes give him away, showing fear mixed with greed. That single conversation changes everything because now Tommy understands the leak is feeding straight to a rival outfit run by a slick operator who will stop at nothing to claim the field for himself. Pressure mounts from the boardroom as the big bosses demand faster results, and Tommy is forced to sign papers that feel dirty, but refusing could cost him his job and his family's future. At home, the tension spills over when his wife notices the late nights and the locked office door, and she begs him to walk away from the game before it destroys them all, but Tommy cannot turn his back, knowing the traitor is still inside the gates. Demi Moore's character steps deeper into the picture, offering him a safe place to talk and documents that prove the sabotage is bigger than anyone guessed. She leans in close during a tense dinner, meeting her voice soft yet urgent as she names names and points to bank records that link insiders to offshore accounts. Tommy wants to trust her completely because her help has already saved 2 rigs from disaster, but small lies start to surface, like how she knew about the rivals' plans before anyone else did. He starts checking her stories in secret, and each new fact fits too perfectly, making him wonder if she is guiding him to the truth or leading him straight into a trap set by the very people paying her. The suspense tightens like a noose when an anonymous tip leads Tommy to an abandoned in a storage shed on the edge of the field, and inside he finds crates of tampered equipment plus a burner phone with messages that point right back to his own team. One message stands out clear as day, warning that if Tommy gets too close, the next accident will not be on the rig, but at his front door. Fear grips him, but anger pushes him forward, and he begins setting quiet traps of his own, feeding false information to different people to see who bites first. The results come fast and brutal, with one trusted engineer suddenly vanishing after receiving the fake data, leaving behind a family that swears he was just going on vacation. Tommy digs into the missing man's computer and discovers emails that tie him directly to the rival company, and worse yet, to a government inspector who has been looking the other way for months. The web of lies spreads wider, pulling in politicians who once shook Tommy's hand at charity events and now demand bigger cuts to keep the permits flowing. Every alliance he thought was solid starts to crumble as old friends call less and new enemies smile more. Meanwhile, the oil keeps flowing black gold worth more than blood, and the rigs never sleep, but the men working them whisper about curses and bad omens. because accidents keep happening in ways that look like bad luck, yet carry the stamp of deliberate sabotage. A young roughneck nearly loses his arm when a cable snaps, and Tommy arrives at the hospital to find the kid's mother crying and pointing fingers at management for ignoring safety warnings that Tommy himself had never seen. The guilt burns, but it also fuels his hunt because he knows the traitor is watching every move and enjoying the chaos. Demi Moore meets him at a roadside diner far from prying eyes and slides an envelope across the table containing photos of the rival boss meeting with someone from Tommy's inner circle. Her hand lingers on his for a second too long, and in that moment, Tommy feels the pull of something real, yet the doubt lingers like poison in his veins. Is she risking everything to help him, or is this just another layer of the game designed to make him lower his guard? The question keeps him awake as he drives back through the empty fields, the stars above mocking his confusion. Back at headquarters, the board calls an emergency meeting, and Tommy walks in knowing one of the suits across the table is feeding information to the enemy. He tests them all with careful questions and watches faces tighten and eyes dart away, revealing cracks in their stories. One vice president sweats too much and another laughs a little too loud at jokes that are not funny, and Tommy files every reaction away like evidence in a murder trial. Outside, the wind picks up, carrying the smell of oil and betrayal across the land. And Tommy realizes the fight is no longer just about money or power, it is about survival in a world where loyalty is sold by the barrel. The rival company makes its first open move, filing a lawsuit claiming the new field belongs to them based on old leases nobody knew existed, and the papers are full of details only someone inside Tommy's operation could have provided. The betrayal now has a face in court, and the clock starts ticking louder than ever, because if the lawsuit sticks, the entire empire could be handed over on a silver platter. Tommy spends the night poring over every contract with Demi Moore by his side, her sharp mind catching loopholes that could turn the tide, but her sudden knowledge of legal tricks raises fresh questions in his mind. Why does a woman who claims to be just a consultant know so much about oil law and hidden clauses? The suspicion grows, but so does the need for her, because without her insight, the case is already lost. Family life fractures further when his daughter confronts him about the fear in the house and the way he checks every window before bed, and Tommy promises her it will end soon, even though he knows the end might come with a bullet or a prison cell. The section closes on a knife edge as Tommy receives a late-night call from an unknown number, and a distorted voice warns him that the next betrayal will come from the person he trusts most, and when it does, there will be no second chances. The oil fields sleep, but the war inside them is just waking up, and Tommy stands alone at the edge of the abyss, wondering which hand will push him over. The suspense coils tighter with every secret exposed and every ally who might turn enemy, because in this game, the deepest cuts come from those closest to your heart, and the 2026 season is only getting started with shocks that will leave viewers breathless and begging for more. Tommy's fight has moved from the rigs to the very soul of the company, and the question burning in every shadow is simple. Who will be left standing when the final mask falls away and the true traitor steps into the light? The betrayal runs so deep now that even the ground feels ready to swallow the innocent whole, and the Landman must move faster than the lies if he wants to see another sunrise over his empire. 816 milliseconds, Section 3. Section 3, the distorted voice on the phone, echoes in Tommy Norris's head long after the call ends, leaving him staring at the ceiling in his empty house while the weight of those final words crushes down like 1,000 barrels of crude. The next betrayal will come from the person he trusts most, and right now, every face in his life feels like it could be the one holding the knife. He starts with the only person who has been by his side through the darkest nights, Demi Moore's character, whose sharp mind and steady hand have pulled him back from the edge more times than he can count. Tommy begins watching her closer than ever, slipping away to check her hotel room when she is out and tracing the numbers she calls late at night. What he finds sends ice through his veins, because her phone records show repeated contact with the rival company's lawyers and one late-night meeting in a city 2 hours away that she never mentioned. The evidence piles up fast, a hidden bank account in her name with deposits that match the exact days when company secrets leaked, and Tommy feels the floor drop out from under him, because if she is the traitor, then every kind word, every shared secret, every moment of closeness was just a performance designed to destroy him from the inside. He confronts her in the middle of a rain-soaked parking lot, his voice low and dangerous, while thunder rolls across the Texas sky, and she looks him straight in the eyes, denying everything with tears that look real, but could be the best acting he has ever seen. She swears on her life that someone is framing her and begs him to believe her, because the real enemy is still out there pulling strings he cannot even see yet. Tommy wants to trust her more than anything, but the doubt has already taken root, and it grows faster than the oil wells they are fighting over. Meanwhile, the lawsuit from the rival company explodes in the courts, with new documents surfacing that only someone with full access to Tommy's files could have provided, and the judge sets a hearing date that could strip the entire new field away in a single ruling. The boardroom turns into a war zone as executives point fingers at each other, and Tommy sits at the head of the table, knowing the traitor is smiling right across from him wearing a suit and tie. One vice president suddenly offers to testify against the company, claiming he has proof of illegal bribes, and Tommy realizes this is the move the enemy has been waiting for: a public collapse from within. He races to stop the man before he reaches the courthouse, but arrives just in time to see the vice president's car explode in a ball of fire on the highway, leaving nothing but twisted metal and the smell of burning fuel. The message is clear: anyone who gets too close to the truth pays with their life, and Tommy knows the next target is him. Back at the rigs, the sabotage turns deadly when a pressure valve fails during a night shift, sending toxic gas into the air, and 3 workers collapse before the alarms even sound. Tommy arrives in the chaos, pulling men to safety while his lungs burn, and in the middle of the rescue, he spots a small device planted on the valve, something too sophisticated for a simple accident. The tech points straight back to the missing engineer who vanished weeks earlier, and now Tommy understands the man was never on vacation. He was eliminated because he knew too much. The hospital waiting room becomes another battlefield when the young roughneck's mother grabs Tommy by the collar, demanding answers, and he has none to give because the betrayal has poisoned every level of the operation. At home, his family feels like strangers. His wife packs a bag for the kids, saying she cannot watch him destroy himself anymore, and his daughter looks at him with eyes full of fear instead of pride. Tommy stands alone in the driveway, watching their taillights disappear into the night, and for the first time, the fight feels bigger than the oil, bigger than the money, and bigger than his own survival. Demi Moore shows up at his door that same night, soaked from the rain, and hands him a flash drive containing the real proof she claims will clear her name and expose the true traitor. Tommy plugs it in, and the files reveal something that stops his heart cold because the leaks were ordered from the very top of his own company by a board member he has known for 20 years, a man who once called him son. The betrayal runs deeper than he ever imagined, stretching from the fields to the corner offices and straight into the government offices that were supposed to protect them. The rival company was never the real enemy, just a puppet being moved by someone inside who wanted the whole empire for himself. Tommy's hands shake as he reads the final document, a signed order to eliminate him if he got too close, and the signature at the bottom belongs to the one person he never sussed.